So it's almost Thanksgiving, and I want to show you my recipe for my Thanksgiving turkey. And I've been making it this way for years. It is so moist and it's just delicious. But the only thing is, because I cook it underneath this foil, that skin a lot of times will not crisp up. So I have started to take that skin off and make fried turkey skins to go with it, and it's delicious. So when I fry these up, I make sure at least every person has one piece of fried turkey skin to go with their meal. And we serve buffet style, so that turkey skin is gone before anyone sits down. So it's really tasty, really crunchy, and I'll show you how we're going to do it. So we'll first get started by making a brine for the turkey. And make sure that when you make your brine, you're using kosher salt, not table salt, because it will be too salty if you do. So here are all of the measurements. You can do a screen capture with your device, and they'll also be below the video if you'd like to print them out. So from my garden, I am using some Meyer lemons along with a couple of sprigs of rosemary. So now we'll make our brine. So to your water, go ahead and add the salt, the peppercorns, add your Cajun seasoning, just use your favorite brand, and now the brown sugar and the rosemary. And you want to stir that over about medium heat until that sugar dissolves. Once the sugar has dissolved, go ahead and throw some ice in there just to kind of cool it down a little bit. And then I like to transfer mine to mason jars. I let it cool down to about room temperature, and then I put it in my refrigerator until I'm ready to brine the turkey. So I like to brine my turkey in a cooler, and I'll line that cooler with a brining bag, or if you can't find a brining bag, I like to use an oven bag that's big enough for a turkey. And so into the bag, I'll add a little bit of ice and put my turkey in there. And now I can go ahead and start to add the brine. And then just put a little bit more ice right there on top because you want to make sure this stays very cold. I also like to put a little frozen jug of water right there on top of the turkey to keep it submerged in the ice water so it doesn't float to the top as the ice begins to melt. And now I'll tie it up and secure it, and I want to leave it in there 24 to 36 hours. So where I live in November, it's usually colder outside than inside my house. So I'll just stick this cooler right outside my door, and that way it stays cold. But you may not be able to do that where you live, so you'll just have to make a judgment call on that. So now it's time to cook the turkey. So on Thanksgiving Day, I'll go ahead and make my compound butter first. Here are the ingredients that I'm going to use. This is where that Meyer lemon comes in handy. So I had some rosemary, some butter, some garlic, and of course the Meyer lemon. My butter is softened, so I just want to grate the peel of the entire Meyer lemon right into the butter. So now for the rosemary, I just strip those leaves backwards off of the stem, and then I pinch the end stems off. And we only need about 2 tablespoons for this, so right into the butter mixture. And now for the garlic, I just like to grate this right into the butter, and now we'll just combine it real well, and that's my compound butter. So I dried my turkey real well, and so now I'm just going up underneath the flap of skin that covers the breast, and I'm loosening that up with my fingers. Be pretty careful when you do this because you don't want to puncture the skin. And now with the butter, I'll just go up underneath there and then rub that butter all the way back onto the breast. And you can kind of do that almost from above. You don't have to do it from underneath the skin. This is where a lot of the flavor is going to come from for your drippings for your gravy. And just to make it easier for the turkey to cook and to keep it neat and nice, I went ahead and tucked my wings underneath the turkey, and there are plenty of videos on YouTube to show you how to do that. But you basically just take that wing out and you'll just tuck it right up underneath the turkey. And now I'll just cover it with foil. You can do this on a broiler pan. I lined the pan underneath it too with tin foil so it'll be easy for cleanup. So now we'll pop it in the oven, which I had preheated at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Depending on the size will determine how long you need to cook your turkey. And usually that is right there on the bag that you buy your turkey in. So now we want to check the turkey to make sure that it's done. And so into the thickest part of the thigh, I'll insert a thermometer and make sure that it's reading 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And it was, so that's great. Now I want to remove the drippings for my gravy. And so I've transferred those into a dish. And so now we'll cover it right back up with the foil, cover it up really tight, cover it with a towel, and we want this to rest at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. So just let it rest. It won't get cold. It'll be just fine, and it will be so moist. You've got to let this rest. If you try to go cutting into this 30 minutes to an hour after you've pulled it out of the oven, you are going to lose a lot of the wonderful moist juice that we're trying to keep in the turkey. Okay, so make sure you let it rest. For instance, for my turkey, I cooked it for 3.5 hours, and then I let it rest for 2 hours. So I actually started my turkey in the oven about 5.5 hours before we wanted to eat. So my husband went ahead and started to cut the turkey, and while he was doing that, I was pulling the skin off of the turkey. So in my cast iron skillet here, I melted some coconut oil, and I just let this turkey skin fry up. It has a lot of flavor in it from the brine, and then some of it had the butter on it with the rosemary. And so when it started to look crisp and it wasn't flimsy, I went ahead and pulled it out and let it drain on a paper towel. So these are just little nuggets of deliciousness. So I just placed these right on top of the turkey. I hope you're able to give this a try. And for more Thanksgiving ideas, you can head on over to my channel. Well, over there I have a playlist section with a lot more Thanksgiving side dishes and breads and desserts too. And don't forget to click that little bell off to the right of the subscribed button, and you'll receive all notifications from my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all have a beautiful day.